This is Gerald van Was. I will continue where I left off. In the last video, I explained a word like cure, and I didn't emphasize it, but some words are really. Why do you really need to know what is the reference in the letters themselves? What are the references that are connected? And how they are connected and so on. So why should we need that? But if you analyze, for instance, already the word cure, it's not just about our focus, it's describing our focus, but it's also describing how the things connect, what our focus needs to make it work. So the cure, for instance, it already proved, I didn't emphasize that at all, but it already proved that there is if we know the word very well, we also know the solution. So how do we have a cure when we really know what is missing and how we the more we know what is missing, the more it also connects to to get it right again. And that's the cure. Then you also get the time for it. And that's described in the word. And that's why it is also important to understand what it is meaning, because then you also know, how you can use it. So for there are words that are also sometimes abused even in journalism at times, and especially in politics, they use certain words to make you think in a certain direction, and they are confined. You know that, of course, that the politicized words or the words also in that are not very pleasant, like you lose your job, you're not going to say lose, because then you sense that losing. So in every word there is an expression that also has a confinement of emotions and rationality, and that's sometimes also solution. And words are also used deliberately for creating an illusion, a solution that is desired. But it is very good to, I had it a few times already in some videos, some words are really good to know, what can we do with it? And that's what is expressed in the words. And I will express in this video a couple of words with the meanings that are derived from the letter positions. And I will have a few difficult words like wrong and right, and because right is also about to the right, then I will also show left to it as well. And I will always be honest in looking for it, so that to see like what does it really show us. But it's also for me still a slight process of getting to learn this new method of placement, because I have to learn to work with it, because it's a bit it's a method that I'm using which is a bit forced into it. So because I split the ideas a bit further so that I can see them better, but I have to remain in balance, and that keeping it in balance, I still have to work slightly on it, and I will show you also that process to show you also how I can do that honestly. And then you know I'm wrong or right or not, of course. Okay, let's go. So the basics are the splitting up of the focuses, the three focuses, the three kinds of focus that you can have that are used in the letter system when you give it an order into a numerical system that is about focus. And here it is about focus. One focus when the things are stable, two focuses when things are changing, when you need time, and three focuses when you don't see the one or two, and you have to skip to the right position, reorganize the things a little bit. And that's also something you sometimes have to do, because the things are not immediately as they need to be, as you think how they need to be, how they are, that they are objective. No, you have to make some adaptations at certain point, and that's where communication comes in, when understandings are shared and we make some adaptations in its path. And all the letters that you see there at the right, they fit into one of these three categories in a certain order, in many different ways that you can learn. Yeah, maybe sometimes it's even good to learn these letters by heart, that you know in which category they are, because these first 9 letters are all about placing something. The next ones are all about timing something, and the last letters are all about trying to find its context. And it's a logic which builds up, which is a balance and which is balanced out. And we realize, of course, very easily when A is used as a center point. That's very easy to understand. The complexity, how it is broken up into these 27 or more letters, or how many letters are there really, and the combinations of letters and so on. It is you have to know you have to learn these balances a little bit. I have a lot of methods to get to know it geometrically, and in other ways as well. But I will use what is most useful in this method, which is about placement in its own. So we want to place the thing as quickly as possible in one go, and it is the method is also respecting the order of the letters. So when I use, for instance, the word wrong, I have W as the first letter, R as the second, O, and so on, just as the word is, and it has to be readable. But where can I place the letters? Of course, in the right category, and then in a way I can read them. Here I have already a slight problem, because when I put simply the letters W, R, and O in the right category, I can read them quite well. So these are very logical. But then I have already a problem. The N is also in the same category as green, and I no longer have a place for it. So I have to look for a solution to get that balance right. And the balance is out of balance, of course, because there's a letter already too much to keep it within my frame of what I can see. So basically, if I simply put the letters in there, it is already going out of focus. Why is it going out of focus? Our focus actually is all based upon the number 3. We can focus very well if we can divide it into 3. That's why this whole system is divided into 3 times 3. Okay, you have 4 letters there at some point, because there's also an inner and outer direction at some point that you get. They are at the same place. There are 3 times 3 positions. And there are also less letters in the last one, because some of the categories are also not in, out. It's also in and out the system. The he is going in the system, the who is going out of the system, but they are not letters, because they cannot be used as reference frames which can stay within our focus. I mean, the he and the who you can't. So our focus is based upon these 3. If there are more letters, like Jack with long words, I have a problem with to learn, for instance, Japanese, because these words are so long. But they use not just singular letters; they use double letters. So the hi, ha, ho, hi, ni, na, no, ne, and so of course the words become longer, and my focus is getting out of focus a little bit, and that makes it difficult. And that's actually what it also is happening if I simply, without much doing, just write down the categories and see where are my categories. The wrong, it's already the size in between the letters is also already wrong, and then the N is getting out of the system, and the G is even completely out. It's already going into that direction that something is wrong. The idea comes very quickly if you start to play with the real content of the words and the real idea of focus as well, the focus of 3, or also 1, 2, 3. This kind of balances is done very quickly, unconsciously as well, and it's getting out of balance. We immediately understand, up, it's out of balance. And what categories did we have with the word wrong? There were no letters used for the physical placement, so the objective view. That means the thing that we know and that we are sure of and that we can see and that we have. There's nothing of that. So all the letters used in the word wrong are letters about timing and about context. So it is clearly about a contextual timing. So thanks to a certain context, we can place something in time. So you cannot place it immediately in what we have now. We do not have it now, and it's not even, with a very rough view, within our scope of vision that we can know. No, we cannot place it. And is also about getting see what you can use after a while. It's about timing the material in time, so you cannot place it. And G is about bigger context, the context itself, behind the scenes. It shows the context behind the scenes as the G, which is at this point out of scope, also as a context, as a contextual thing. You have it wrong. Even if I did that very superficially, I just put the letters there, I can already immediately sense what I need to do, what is my focus, what my focus is about, and I'm not even overanalyze anything. Immediately, yeah, the idea comes over, and okay, that's why I will already stop this analyzing. So let's go to the opposite. Yeah, so when something is wrong, something could be right as well, of course. So again, we will write down the letters. We have R, I, G, okay, and the next one is H. It's also out of scope. So what do we need to do? So, okay, let's refocus. If we simply put the same thing, we put it also in the right order and see how far it will go. I have right in a way that I can understand it. So what do I have here? It also right says that actually we can't know what is right. It's not within our scope, but it has to do with the contextual thing out of scope. And H is about the vividness of circumstances which decide the contextual thing where we place the things. So basically, if we roughly going to decide what is right or what is wrong, we do not know this because it's not within our scope. But there's a but. Yeah, if you look closer to the superficial right and wrong, but you go to the right sizes and balances between R, I, G, H, and T in a bit more detail, then the everything comes a little bit closer together, and then maybe we can see what is right and wrong. But we look already to the material. Here we look to the superficial central point of vision. From a central point of vision, it doesn't work. We do not know what is wrong or right. But it is about, we know it is already about the circumstances that should be vivid and so on. They are contextual, and that there you can place actually already what is right. But who decides this? Who says that for you what are the circumstances that are great or not great, or right or not right? Who are you to decide what is right and what is not right? But there is a way. There is a sense of basics, a foundation, a centralized foundation that we can't know what is right. But when we put the right sizes together, so the R is a little bit smaller in size, it has that inner size. The E is even if is the last category of the last position in the category, so it's the smallest. The G again is the biggest. The H is again the smaller. and then the T again is the full size. So the last H can be smaller, the E can be smaller, the R can be smaller, and we have it within our scope. Okay, now we can analyze it, that when we also look at the balance of the material, let's say, and we look at the right sizes, how the balance between the material is, not just the centralized, like I start with it so I have it right. It doesn't work like that. When you look at the material, the second level of, so that you also look at the sizes, you will have the balance between how large the balance between these regions is. Okay, then I have it a little bit more right, is within my full scope. And let's now analyze what I have here. The R is about connecting from what is or towards what is available from context. That's the R about. I'm not going to explain where that comes from now, but that is what it is about. The E is about inserting an idea. If it's at that point where it is my personal starting point. So I start with my personal idea, which I prepared there. This is a position in a balance where I have it. In the middle you have the now aspect, and the now aspect is connected to the G. That's in the middle, so I'm connecting it to a higher concept that I have behind it. What is that higher concept? The next letter, H. So that is that aspect which is about what should make the things more viable. The conditions, the contextual conditions, of course, the contextual conditions which define what is viable, what you can do. It's at that second position of conditions, what you need, but also about the other. So it's also referring to the other. So it should also be make the things more viable for the other. And the conclusion of it is the placement, which I do not have from the beginning. So I have to go through all this process, and then I come to T, which is the practical perspective in a way. It is placing the things, it is able to place the things, and that it is. So we can get it within our frame. I succeeded by respecting the balance between these things. And then I create a new balance, a more detailed view upon it. And I see that I can have the things right when I connect them to the available context. I insert them to my personal idea, that I prepare for it. I connect it to the higher concept behind it, which is it should also be viable as a concept for the other persons, for the conditions that are there, and when they are also practical, and then the things are right. You see, even you can read them slightly different, but it helps you to understand the three frames and then the balance between these frames. I had them in two different views, but I didn't, for instance, count in the first view with the detailed aspect of how large is the material. I just have used only the center point of visions in it. Now then I looked closer. Oh no, what is how is the material organized? There are, of course, also there in reading these letters, there's a bit of level. I hope you can still follow me here, because it's also again an extra idea I didn't use before, but it is still logical within the system what I'm doing. I didn't count to all the details in my previous view. I just had it very superficially, and then you can already read it on the first level. This is the second level. I'm a bit more careful. I deal with a few more aspects, and then I can read it already more clear. There are even more things that you can count on. You can also count on, okay, the basic level of space. You also use dots to connect to. On the green level, you also have, but you don't have anything in the green level. You use also arrows to show you in which direction things are going. And so there are some helpful tools as well. If you all count them in together, you come even to more detail, and then you also know even more from what is right, how is the balance in it. But don't take it too far. You already know here two levels already of the same thing, and they are both correct, they are both right in the perspective that they give. Let's go also to left. In a way, I already told before that left is this really weird word. I had it in Chinese. When you deal with a system which is about not just placement but also timing and conceptual thing, right and left are also a little bit more concepts of what are the conditions of this right or left. It's not just about a direction, there's much more behind it. So that's why you have also right and left in politics and so on, or right and left with all these extra connotations, like you have left even in Greek, for instance, it has this aspect of the sinister and right. What can be right? So it is not just what is right, because is the right wing always right? It's a whole philosophy if you start to think about it. I also described all these things in books about the tarot balances that I had also written about it, so that you know what is this about and what can this be about, and it's not as simple as saying okay, it's a direction. No, just a direction as a word in a way doesn't exist. But let's see. I don't know. I don't know beforehand if my theory is right. I have to see, can I use it? I'm still making a practice. Can I use it? And left is very much a direction. So should this direction be visible? Let's hope so. And if not, then I investigate why not. L is I have here already. I have at the right position and in the right size, F in the right position, the right size, and T in the right position, the right size. It's not readable. Yeah, but why not? Because all these letters, that is as if I'm on the same level. You can only read it to the left. Sorry, that's a bit accidental. But a word is not written in that way. You have to read it from left to right. So I have to reorganize this in a way that it remains balanced, and then I can read it well. So the L has to go to the left and the T has to go to the right, and then I can read it from the left to right. L, E, F, T. So that's already better. So what do I have here? It is within my full scope, so it should work. I have L, which is about growth and things that are changing, but it's from the perspective of space, so you're not looking at what is changing in time, but it's just about, what do I see that has some changes upwardly. The next letter is A, which is at the point of where I start my initiative and my ideas. So the A is about timing, so I look at the timing. The F is about the resulting changes of coordinations in time, so some certain things changed in time. And the last letter is about placement, so the conclusion should be about placement. It's just vertical to show you where the center point is. There is that center point. It's there very far away at the horizon. It's that placement where I basically says I have an orientation in placement which I can use. Not very clear yet. And the reason why it's not clear is also because I'm still working on the method. So when is a method practical, when not? It is readable. So you have left here. But you see also, there's not really a perfect balance in it, so the balance is a bit spread into two parts, and of course you don't see the connection. You don't see the connection. In a way, our focus is always about just trying to have just one focus alone, and it's not there. It is split, so you can't see very well what am I looking at from the beginning and for the end. When I split it too hard, of course you can't see the connection, so I have to put them closer together and find a way to make them closer together and still fit them within that frame, that it is logical and so on. So I will put them a little bit closer together so that I get a view on it, so that I can have it into one vision and still see the separations or the distinctions. So much more that you need distinction. You don't need a complete separation if you separate things too hard. Again, with the four fingers, if I put these four fingers apart, they seem to be from two different hands, and maybe they are from two different hands. Ooh. They are from two different hands because, and here they are close together, but are they from closer hands? When you see the hand and the four things hanging together, you know they're from one hand, and we have here four fingers. Yes, finally, I know it. There's that kind of logic that you need to use. When do I see a distinction? It's about distinction. It's not about separating everything and then putting it together like a puzzle. So I put in a little bit closer together, just close enough so that I can read them well, and they also read well in a balance within that system. Okay, I'll try again. And of course I have to respect the categories, the category of timing, the category of placement, and so on, and use that balance and use the balance against each other. So sometimes I have to use in the down frame. I can always use these two frames that are the extras, to help us. They're also in the middle. It's about two focuses, but I can also derive them into one focus, still reminding us that it is about a comparison between the beginning and the ending. It's about timing. I put them in the middle because it's about what is forming itself during the time. So I can put the E in the middle and use that as a main focus. L first, Ed next, F next, T next, in the right size as well. The T is a big size, the L a bit smaller, and the A a bit smaller, and the F the smallest. And in the order of reading it, it has the right position. So there is a balanced position. Okay, now I can start again. So I have this starting point of my initiative, where I start with my ideas, where I start how shall I organize it, and I organize it by checking the growth. Okay, that's fine. Checking the timing. Okay, checking how it evolved. Okay, and then I can place it. This is already a little bit closer to understand it. So I check here what evolved. I check here in time what evolved, not just what has a different form, but also what evolved there in what I see from the form. And then I can use it as that with a functional placement. And that idea fits already better with one of the meanings of left, which is that it is about that about these remains. There are some remains left. We have something left. Something changed, and what is left in the change, or what is my focus on what changed. I only focus on that, not what I gained, what changed. That is the leftovers focus already better. So I know that it is already closer to one of the foundations and fundaments of the word left, but I'm still not there completely, so I have to focus even closer. And maybe if I try to really focus into just one point alone, because it's about focus of the focus that I want is the most objective, the most into one point, the most into one center, and see if I can see it. So again, I will just try one center point. I have the L, the growth, the E, the timing, the F. Both the E is of course timing from start to finish, but you have it in the middle, which this also not just centralizes this double focus, it is also about what is growing in general. So it is also the letter which is in the middle of the timing, so it still fits there quite well to also keep it in the middle. The F at the end of the green scheme is about the checking the limits of what you have. The limits are of course from start to finish, so there is always checking what is the difference between the before and after. And here you see it already a little bit closer. The F, you have these two sections. It is before, it is here, and then and after it is there. It is changing. There are changes. You check the changes. And this fits quite well in what my focus of L was about. The focus of L was about what was growing. So what is the difference physically first in my focus before, timed compared to before and after. And then with T, I focus on what is indeed the difference in height. What difference do I have? What is the difference in how far I have it? How far physically, but also how far it's changed after a while in the timing and so on. So it is indeed, again, much more about the remains. How much do I have left and so on. So if you want to understand the letters of E and F, I have described them here a little bit better as with words. So the E is of course, like all of them, within two focuses. So, and it is also there are also comparing values, of course, but within F you're completely focusing upon what result these differences will give. A is in the middle of it, so it's about the timing of material. F is about the material that has materialized itself, and you see what has changed. It's the last category, is always about change, about limits and so on. So you look at what did change after a while, what has changed here, and that's our focus of left. So see there, the L is lifting my focus up. Then you have this timing where you see the difference in the timing, and what actually is like the further away it is, also the less I also have very good view on it, of course, as well. It doesn't say it's in the direction of left, so that is a bit disappointing that you can't see that, but it is the connotation, some of the connotations of left, from what is grown out of reach, what is left over. These things, these associations, you can derive from it. You could of course say now, like, okay, shouldn't I have left this behind, this what is further away? There are some values and they changed, and I'm not even sure if I can use them or not. Shouldn't I have better left this half-truth behind? No, as a very good leftist, I not only care for the winning, but I also care about these values that are still left behind. You see how much that a word with connotations and focuses upon these connotations has this second meaning, which very often steers actually the direction of what we think is about right or good, left or right, or wrong or right. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks again for watching. Some books, a website, and even a Facebook page and so on. Thanks again for watching. Bye.